Okay, so this is part two to how I surrendered my anger because, well, if you didn't see that one, go back and look at it before you come back to this one because I realized that I didn't give all the talking points I was supposed to give in that video that would really explain my point and, in fact, not paint me in some type of picture as somebody who is depressed or looking at the wrong aspects of, like, not wrong, wrong is the wrong word, not looking at the less the very good aspects of life. I believe that the perspective you keep creates the narrative in which you experience life. And so, yes, we could look at the negative, but we could also look at the positive. And what you hold in your mind creates that reality you experience. So, whereas before I was talking about how my anger was rooted in not externalized, very much internalized, in a process of not wanting to be here and suicidal thoughts, and then finding God, and then shifting that anger from myself to God, which in and of itself is the same as hating yourself, because not to go down the narrative that you are God, but the narrative that God is everything and everywhere, everything all at once, just happening, one big cosmic wheel turning with multiple billion and trillions of smaller gears just having their own little experience, turning piece by piece on different scales. And so there is the ego, the anima, the version of us that is created by external environments growing up through our entire life. And then I guess you could say the soul, one aspect of yourself that is connected to that total being, the observer. And how what I realized very quickly was that we tend to be unconscious most of the times of the voices in our heads. I say voices because we have, my name is Mark. Mark has a voice that would say, well, I need to go get up and brush my teeth, and then I want to go get coffee and make breakfast and do these different things. This is what I want to do today, right? And at the same time, there's another voice, the observer, who's just there silently watching and waiting and just observing. It has nothing to say. I've got an emotional voice that comes in and says, "Oh well, I'm pretty beat up right now. I'm feeling sad about this thing right now." And then Mark has an input, and a logical part of my brain has a rationalization of something, and so it has this whole conversation. But then source, the soul, the aspect of the observer, that also has a voice, but that voice is so subtle, and we call it's very akin to intuition or knowing. It doesn't need validation of anything, or some type of backup or double checking on it. In fact, you tend to doubt that voice more so, like when you're not trained to do it, you doubt that voice so much because it sounds so absurd sometimes that it contradicts your very reality that you're listening to, that you're experiencing, right? But we're talking about the aspect of what I learned from overcoming or surrendering anger, and that is is bliss, feel good versus not feel good. And when we release the not feel good, which is tied to that anima, tied to that ego aspect of all of the forefront, the person that I am, Mark, is separate from source. It's never separate, but there's a clear distinction between the person I am as a product of my environment versus the observer that is me, who's just chilling in the background. That's not a personality. That's just a state of being that just is, right? And so the ego holds on to a lot of negativity solely because it is a blank canvas, and as a baby, whatever happens to you, it just creates patterns, and it's what you then become to the outer world. You project that picture that you are of your past, and it's not really your fault, but it holds on to negativity. So when we learn to surrender the negativity attached to the ego, we get the opportunity to wipe the canvas clean so that when we do project onto the world, and again, it's no longer a projection of that negativity, but we are able to sit within that clear space or paint any picture we want to paint actually, and then project that back outwards. And this is how we create a positive uplifting change through being, by surrendering. I hope that helped or clarify a lot of things I feel. And like, I was thinking about it just a couple of days ago. I was like, I posted a video, but I didn't say everything I wanted to say. It was way too short. um but yeah, you know what, I love you, have a good day.